Listen to me right now. You owe you, not your mama, not your daddy, not your coach, your boss, or your teacher. This is about you. You owe it to the person you see in the mirror every morning. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be great. Stop making excuses for why you're not where you want to be. You've got to stop blaming your past, stop blaming your circumstances, and stop blaming the people who didn't show up for you. Guess what? Life is unfair. It's not a secret. But here's the truth. If you're waiting for life to hand you success, you're going to be waiting forever. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to do the hard work for you. If you don't take control of your life, who will? You owe you the life you dream about. And let me tell you something, you're capable of it. But capability doesn't mean a thing without action. It's time to take full ownership. Ownership of your dreams, ownership of your hustle, ownership of your failures. If you're not willing to own it all, you'll never get to where you want to go. And here's the kicker. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going when it's cold, when it's hard, and when nobody's clapping for you. Let me tell you what happens when you decide to show up for yourself. You wake up with purpose. You stop hitting snooze on your dreams. You don't let fear hold you back because you realize it's not about being feared. You become unstoppable, and that's when life starts to transform. So I'm asking you today, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to take what's yours? Are you going to keep pointing fingers, or are you going to look in the mirror and say, I owe me everything? This is your life. This is your moment. Own it. No one owes you anything, but you owe you everything. Let me say this right now. Nothing in your life changes until you take control. Stop looking around at your circumstances, blaming people for where you're at. Nobody is coming to fix it for you. Your boss can't save you. Your partner can't save you. Your friends, your parents, even your kids. They can't do the work for you. You've got to take responsibility for where you are, because where you are is a direct result of your choices. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying you deserve what happened to you, but hear me. Whatever happened is not your fault, but it's still your responsibility to rise above it. The moment you take ownership, you stop being a victim. You take your power back. Ownership means saying, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm willing to do the work to change that. Some of you are stuck because you're too busy pointing fingers. It's my boss's fault I didn't get the promotion. It's the school system's fault I ain't learned the skills. It's my family's fault I have the support. But while you're pointing fingers, time is passing. Life is moving. The world doesn't stop because you're stuck in blame. Every second you spend pointing fingers is a second you lose control over your destiny. You've got to own your dreams, own your failures, own your time. Listen, if your life was a movie, you're the director, you're the writer, you're the star. But if you're sitting there waiting for someone else to write your story, you're going to be sitting there forever. Take the pen and write your next chapter. And don't confuse ownership with perfection. Ownership doesn't mean you'll never fail. It doesn't mean you'll always make the right choice. Ownership means that when you fall, you don't stay down. When you mess up, you don't make excuses. You get up, learn the lesson, and keep moving. The truth is, nobody cares about your excuses. The world doesn't care why you're not successful yet. It cares about results. Are you putting in the work? Are you showing up every day? Are you taking the steps even when it's hard? If not, then guess what? You're not owning it. Ownership isn't pretty. It's not comfortable. It's gritty, raw, and unfiltered. Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for someone to pat you on the back and tell you it's your time. It's your life. Nobody's going to care about your dreams the way you do. You owe it to yourself to take control. You owe it to your future to show up now. The moment you decide to own your life is the moment things start to change. You stop feeling helpless. You stop feeling stuck. Because now, instead of focusing on what's wrong, you're focusing on what you can do. You're looking at the problem and saying, how do I fix this? What's my next step? Let me tell you something. You have more power than you think. Some of you are acting like life is happening to you. No, life is responding to you. When you take ownership, you shift the energy. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You become the one making moves instead of watching them happen. And don't let fear stop you. Ownership is scary. It means no one else is to blame when things go wrong. But guess what? That's the price of greatness. That's the cost of freedom. If you want the life you've been dreaming about, You have to be willing to own the journey. That includes the ups and the downs. Taking ownership isn't just about big decisions, it's about the little ones too. What time are you waking up? How are you spending your evenings? What are you doing with your weekends? Every choice you make is either moving you closer to your goals or further away. Start owning the little things and the big things will follow. Stop playing small. Stop thinking someone else is going to come in and fix your problems. This is your life, your legacy, your responsibility. Own it because nobody else will. And once you take ownership, the world will have no choice but to respect you. You'll walk differently. You'll talk differently. You'll move differently. Ownership isn't a one-time decision. It's something you have to wake up and choose every single day. It's in the way you handle challenges. It's in the way you react to setbacks. It's in the way you refuse to quit, no matter how hard it gets. Every day you have to remind yourself, this is my life. I'm in charge. So what are you going to do today? Are you going to keep blaming, keep waiting, keep wishing, or are you going to stand up and take control? You owe it to yourself. Let me tell you something. Motivation is a liar. Motivation is hype. It's good for a moment. It gets you excited. It makes you feel like you can take on the world. But the second life punches you in the mouth, motivation disappears. Discipline is what keeps you in the fight. Discipline is what gets you up at 5 a.m. when the alarm goes off and you'd rather hit snooze. Motivation is that burst of energy when you hear a great speech or you watch a video that gives you chills. And don't get me wrong, that energy is powerful. It's necessary to get started. But motivation is like fireworks, bright and exciting, but it fades fast. Discipline is the slow burn. It's the fuel that keeps the fire going, even when the fireworks are long gone. Here's the thing. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, if it's cold outside, if you're having a bad day. Discipline says get up and do it anyway. Discipline is the voice in your head that drowns out every excuse and says keep going. You owe you. Some of you are stuck because you're waiting to feel motivated before you take action. But here's the truth. Feelings are unreliable. They come and go like the weather. If you're waiting to feel motivated, you're going to waste half your life. Discipline doesn't wait for feelings. Discipline acts. Discipline shows up no matter what. And don't think for a second that discipline comes naturally. Nobody wakes up one day and magically becomes disciplined. Discipline is built through repetition. It's built through doing the hard stuff over and over until it becomes a habit. It's built through small wins, one choice at a time, one step at a time. The key to discipline is understanding your why. Why are you doing this? What are you working toward? Because when the grind gets tough, and it will, your why is what keeps you anchored. It's what reminds you that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the regret of quitting lasts forever. Listen, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy. Nobody's clapping for you when you're alone in the gym at 6 a.m. or when you're staying up late studying while everyone else is partying. But that's the price you pay for greatness. Discipline is the foundation of success, and there are no shortcuts around it. Stop waiting for inspiration to strike. Create your own momentum. Discipline is about consistency, and consistency beats intensity every single time. Anybody can work hard for a day or a week, but can you do it every day? For a year, for 5 years, for a lifetime? That's what separates the great from the average. And let me tell you something else. Discipline is contagious. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building a muscle. And just like any muscle, the more you work it, the easier it becomes to use. One disciplined choice leads to another, and before you know it, discipline becomes your default setting. Don't let distractions derail you. The world is full of noise, social media, TV, gossip. All of it is designed to pull you away from your goals. Discipline is what keeps you focused. It's what helps you say no to the things that don't matter so you can say yes to the things that do. Here's the real kicker. Discipline gives you freedom. It sounds like a contradiction, right? But it's true. When you're disciplined, you're in control. You're not a slave to your impulses or your bad habits. You're not wasting time or energy on things that don't serve you. Discipline frees you to live the life you want. And don't think discipline is just about big goals. Discipline is in the little things, how you start your day, how you treat your body, how you manage your time. Those small choices add up. They create momentum. They set the tone for everything else in your life. Some of you are waiting for the perfect moment to start. Let me tell you something. There is no perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The perfect moment is when you decide to stop making excuses and start taking action. Discipline doesn't wait for perfection. Discipline starts where you are. The grind is lonely, but it's worth it. When you're disciplined, you don't need external validation. You don't need applause or approval. You're doing it for you. You're showing up for your goals, your dreams, your future. And that's the kind of energy that creates unshakable confidence. So I'm asking you, are you ready to get serious about discipline? Are you ready to commit, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard? Because if you are, I promise you this, discipline will take you places motivation never could. Discipline will turn your dreams into reality. This isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about showing up every single day and doing the work. No excuses, no shortcuts, no days off. That's the mindset. That's the standard. Discipline over motivation every single time. Stop waiting for permission. Listen to me. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to give you the green light. Stop waiting for someone to validate your dreams, your hustle, your potential. The truth is, nobody's coming. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, hey, it's your time now. Your time is whenever you decide it is. Some of you are stuck because you're waiting for someone to tell you you can do it. Let me ask you this. Why are you putting your destiny in someone else's hands? Why are you waiting for the approval of people who don't even understand your vision? This is your life, your dream. You don't need their permission to chase it. And here's the thing. Some people will never give you permission, not because they don't believe in you, but because they don't believe in themselves. They're projecting their fears, their limitations, their doubts onto you. You can't let that stop you. You've got to break free from that mindset. If you're waiting for permission, what you're really doing is giving away your power. You're saying, I can't move until someone else says I can. But listen, the people you're waiting on, they don't have the same fire in their belly as you do. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. And that's okay. It's not their dream. It's yours. You've got to take control. You've got to say, I'm not waiting anymore. Stop looking for someone to open the door for you and start kicking doors down. Stop waiting for a seat at the table and build your own table. You don't need to fit into someone else's plan. You need to create your own. Some of you are scared to step out because you're afraid of failing. Let me tell you something. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every successful person you admire has failed, probably more times than you can count, but they didn't wait for permission to try again. They gave themselves the green light and they kept moving. You've got to stop worrying about what people think. Too many of you are paralyzed by the opinions of others. But here's the truth. Most people aren't even paying attention. They're too busy worrying about their own lives. And even if they are judging you, so what? You're not doing this for them. You're doing this for you. When you take action without waiting for permission, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you're capable, that you're strong, that you're unstoppable. And once you start moving, momentum kicks in. Suddenly, you're not waiting for opportunities, you're creating them. Stop looking for guarantees. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you start. Perfection is a myth and guarantees don't exist. The only guarantee is this. If you don't start, nothing will happen. You'll stay stuck, watching other people live the life you want, wondering why it's not happening for you. And don't think for a second that it's going to be easy. Giving yourself permission means stepping out of your comfort zone. It means taking risks. It means putting yourself out there and being okay with the possibility of failure. But guess what? Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. Success doesn't live there. The moment you decide to stop waiting is the moment your life changes. You stop playing small. You stop settling. You stop waiting for someone else to decide your worth. Because you know what? Your worth isn't up for debate. It's not something someone else decides. It's something you declare. Don't let fear hold you back. Fear is a liar. It tells you to stay safe, to stay small, to stay where you are. But deep down, you know you're made for more. You feel it in your gut. That's not fear. That's your potential screaming at you to step up. Don't ignore it. Look, the world needs what you've got. Your ideas, your voice, your vision. They matter. But if you keep waiting for permission, the world will never see them. You owe it to yourself and to the people you're meant to impact to stop waiting and start doing. Here's the bottom line. You've got one life. One. And every day you spend waiting is a day you can't get back. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop asking for permission. The only person who needs to believe in you is you. So what are you going to do today? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect conditions? Or are you going to give yourself permission to step up and go after what's yours? The choice is yours. But remember this, the clock is ticking and the world is waiting. Conquer fear through action. Let me say this loud and clear. Fear is a liar. Fear will whisper in your ear and tell you you're not good enough. It'll tell you to stay where you are, to play it safe, to avoid the risk. But let me tell you something. Fear only has power if you let it. The only way to beat fear is to act. Right now, right where you are, isn't going anywhere. It's part of the process. Some of you are waiting for fear to disappear before you take the first step. But here's the truth, you'll be waiting forever. Fear doesn't vanish. It doesn't magically go away. You don't conquer fear by avoiding it. You conquer fear by facing it. Think about the times you've been scared before. Scared to speak up, scared to try something new, scared to fail. But didn't you survive? Didn't you come out stronger on the other side? That's the power of action. Action shrinks fear. When you take a step forward, fear loses its grip on you. Some of you are overthinking. You're stuck in your head, running through every what if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if it doesn't work? But let me ask you this. What if it does work? What if you succeed? What if this one step changes everything? You'll never know until you move. The problem with fear is that it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck, trapped in the same cycle, living the same day over and over. Fear makes you think you're protecting yourself, but really it's robbing you of opportunities, of growth, of the life you're supposed to be living. Fear thrives in the unknown. It feeds off uncertainty. But the moment you take action, the unknown becomes known. It's like walking into a dark room and turning on the light. Suddenly, it's not so scary anymore. The things you were afraid of don't seem so big. You have to rewire your mindset. Stop seeing fear as a stop sign and start seeing it as a green light. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means go. It means you're about to grow. It means you're stepping into territory you've never been in before. And that's where transformation happens. And listen to me. Fear of failure is one of the biggest lies out there. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. Every failure is a lesson. Every failure is a stepping stone. You learn more from failing than you ever do from winning. So stop being afraid to fail and start being afraid of standing still. Some of you are so scared of what people will think. You're worried about looking foolish, about being judged. But let me ask you this, whose opinion really matters? The people who are judging you aren't the ones living your life. They're not paying your bills. They're not chasing your dreams. So why are you giving them so much power? If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll miss every opportunity. Start before you're ready. Start scared. Start imperfect. Just start. And remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in spite of fear. It's standing up, shaking and saying, I'm doing this anyway. That's where your power is. That's where your breakthrough is. So here's my challenge to you. What's the one thing fear is holding you back from? What's the one thing you know you need to do, but haven't because you're scared? Do it today, right now. Don't let fear control your life. Take control, take action, and watch how fear shrinks in the face of your courage. Invest in your future self. The person you are today is shaping the person you'll be tomorrow. Every decision you make, every habit you create, every step you take is all an investment in your future self. The question is, are you investing wisely? Are you setting your future self up for success? Or are you sabotaging them? Too many people are living for the now. They're chasing instant gratification, quick wins, and shortcuts. But let me tell you something. Shortcuts will cut you short. What feels good today might cost you tomorrow. Success isn't built on convenience. It's built on sacrifice. Think about your goals. Think about the life you want to live. Now ask yourself, what does the future version of me need from the current version of me? What sacrifices do I need to make? What disciplines do I need to develop? What seeds do I need to plant today to reap the harvest tomorrow? Every choice you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. Are you voting for greatness Or are you voting for mediocrity? Are you voting for growth? Or are you voting for stagnation? Your future self is counting on you to make the right choices. Investing in your future self means doing the hard stuff now so you can enjoy the rewards later. It means saying no to the party so you can work on your dream. It means waking up early, staying disciplined, and putting in the work even when nobody's watching. And let me tell you this, the work you're doing now might not pay off immediately. You might not see the results for weeks, months, or even years. But that doesn't mean it's not working. Seeds take time to grow. You've got to trust the process. Don't let distractions steal your future. Every minute you spend scrolling on your phone, every hour you waste binge watching TV, every dollar you blow on things you don't need, it's all robbing your future self. Start treating your time, your energy, and your money like the valuable resources they are. Your future self isn't just someone in the distant future. It's who you'll be tomorrow, next week, next month. Every small habit you build today compounds over time. It's not about making one big leap. It's about making small, consistent choices every single day. And here's the thing. Nobody else is going to do this for you. Nobody else is going to invest in your future the way you can. It's your job to show up for yourself, to prioritize your growth, to put in the work. Start thinking long term. Stop chasing quick fixes and start building something that lasts. Whether it's your health, your career, your relationships, or your mindset, think about where you want to be 5 years from now and start working toward it today. Investing in your future self means learning, growing, and evolving. It means surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who push you to be better. Your environment matters. Your circle matters. Make sure it's aligned with where you're going. And don't forget, your future self isn't just about you. It's about the impact you'll have on the people around you. It's about leaving a legacy, creating something bigger than yourself, and making the world a better place. The work you put in today might not feel rewarding in the moment, but when you look back, 5, 10, 20 years from now, you'll thank yourself for every sacrifice, every discipline, every step you took. Your future self will look back and say, I'm so glad I didn't quit. I'm so glad I stayed focused. So don't wait. Start today. Start now. Your future self is counting on you, and the life you want is waiting. You owe it to yourself to show up, to put in the work, and to build the future you deserve.